Hello students, this is Govind sir, and in the previous video we have discussed about the modeling of mechanical system. There are two mechanical system, translational and rotational mechanical system, and the electromechanical system already we have discussed. In this video we will start with the modeling of fluid system. So we have a basic block diagram of fluid system. There is an input in the form of volumetric rate of flow, and there is output of pressure difference, and this is the block diagram of fluid system. Okay, so in the fluid system we have also three elements, that are hydraulic resistance, hydraulic capacitance, and hydraulic inertance. So we will discuss one by one. So let's start with the hydraulic resistance. Hydraulic resistance is the resistance to flow which occurs as a result of liquid flowing through valves or changes in a pipe diameter. If we are applying valves at the pipe, then it also shows hydraulic resistance, and if there is a change in a pipe diameter, then there is also a hydraulic resistance. So hydraulic resistance R is calculated by pressure difference upon change in flow rate. So it can be written as P1 minus P2 upon Q. Q is change in flow rate, and P1 and P2 is are the change in pressure difference. That is pressure difference. P1 is the pressure at one side, and P2 is the pressure at another side. Okay. Now we have another element, can say another block of fluid system, that is hydraulic capacitance. Hydraulic capacitance is the term used to describe energy storage. It is used to describe energy storage with a liquid, where it is stored in the form of potential energy. So where we have a storage of liquid, then there is a hydraulic capacitance, and it can be represented as C equals to change in liquid storage meter cube upon the change in head. So there is a relation between, there is a ratio of change in liquid stored and change in head. So you can see in this diagram we have input flow rate Q1, and Q2 is the output flow rate. P1 is the input pressure, or P2 is the output pressure. H is the height for this tank. Okay, and cross sectional area is A. So C can be defined as Q1 minus Q2 equals to C dp by dt. It is after solving this, we have Q1 minus Q2 equals to C dp by dt, where is C is hydraulic capacitance, Q1 minus Q2 that is change in flow rate, and dp by dt is change in pressure. Okay. Now we have another, that is hydraulic inertance. Hydraulic inertance come in when the amount of liquid flows from one position to another position. If there is no flow of amount of liquid, then there is no hydraulic resistance. Okay, so hydraulic resistance is the equivalent of inductance in electrical system or spring in mechanical system. Okay, it is like inductance as in electrical system and spring as in mechanical system. So you can see in this image there is a mass of liquid, that is M, area that is A, length of the block is L. If it moves from one position to another position, and there are two forces F1 and F2 at one side and at another side, then F1 equals to P1A and F2 equals to P2A, because A is same for both ends, but the pressure is different. So there are applying force are also different. Okay, so we have equation, that is F1 minus F2 equals to P1A minus P2A. Okay, so this is all about the hydraulic inertance. Now it can be written as in the form of this equation. Okay, so we have just summarized the building blocks like hydraulic resistance, capacitance, and inertance, and their describing equations. Resistance Q equals to P1 minus P2 upon R, and capacitance equals to Q equals to C dP by dP1 minus P2 upon dt, and similarly inductance is written as Q equals to 1 upon L integration of P1 minus P2 dt. Okay, so and it also can be written in the form of energy. Clear? So now we have a simple hydraulic system. We will discuss about that system. So it is very clear from the figure. This is also an hydraulic system where is input flow rate Q1, pressure is P1, this is P1, and output flow rate Q2 and pressure is P2 at this point, and there is a height of liquid, that is H, cross sectional area A. Okay, so first thing is capacitance of hydraulic capacitance can be written as Q1 minus Q2 equals to C dP by dt. We have already discussed in the previous slide. Then P equals to 1 upon C integration of Q1 minus Q2 dt. Now another thing is hydraulic resistance. Hydraulic resistance can be written as P1 minus P2 upon Q2. At the point P1, this is point P1. I will show you again. This is point P1, okay, and this is P2. So P2 is greater than P1, okay. So R can be defined by P1 minus P2 upon Q2. Clear? And Q2 can be written as, that is by using this equation, Q2 can be written as H rho g upon R, because difference in pressure P1 minus P2 is equal to the H rho g, because the difference between these 2 points is equal to the potential energy in this liquid. So it can be replaced by H rho g upon R. Okay, and just putting the value of Q2 in this equation, in the first equation, and we have Q1 minus H rho g upon R equals to C dP by dt, that is P equals to H rho g, pressure. Okay, change in pressure, it is also change in pressure. So rate of change in pressure, that is dP by dt. So it is written as d by dt of H rho g. We have the capacitance C equals to A upon D, and D is written as, D is the distance, or can say this is the height of liquid. So C is equal to A upon rho g, and by putting the value of C, we have the expression for Q1, that is A dH by dt plus rho g h by R. So this equation describes the relationship between height of liquid in the container and the rate of input of liquid into the container. Clear? So we can use the transfer function for this by applying the Laplace transform equations. Okay, now move to the next, that is thermal system. The basic thermal process encountered in the process industries are the mixing of hot and cold fluids, the exchange of heat through adjoining bodies, and the generation of heat by combustion or chemical reactions. There are two laws of thermodynamics are used in the study of thermal system. The first governs the way in which heat is produced and determines the amount generated, and the second governs the flow of heat. So there are two important points, that in which heat, the way in which energy is produced and the amount generated, and the second one is governs the flow of heat. Okay, so temperature changes in isolated body conforms to the first law of thermodynamics, and for a given body, heat input raises the internal energy, and the rate of change of body temperature will be proportional to the heat flow to the body. Definitely the rate of change of body temperature will be proportional to the heat flow of the body. So now we consider a thermal system in which we have liquid in and liquid out. It means there is a liquid entering from this point and there is a outing point, and we have a mixer which makes the liquid uniformly, and heater is used to produce and heat that amount, that is H. So by for modeling this thermal system we have some assumptions, and we will consider like fluid in the tank is perfectly mixed so that it is at uniform temperature. The tank is insulated to eliminate heat loss to the surrounding air. And third one is there is no heat storage in the isolation. And we have some notation, that is theta I. It is shown in the figure, that is steady state temperature of inflowing liquid, and theta is steady state temperature of outflowing liquid, and H is the steady state heat input rate from heater. It is very clear from the figure. You can see the here, this is theta I, theta, and the heat, that is H. Okay, now move to the next. Let delta H be small change in the heat input rate from its steady state value. Now we have a small change in heat, and this change in H will result in the following changes. First one is change in heat output rate by an amount delta H1, and change in heat storage rate of liquid in the tank by an amount of delta H2. These all changes due to change in the heat input rate. Okay, and third one is change in temperature of outflowing liquid by an amount of delta theta. Clear? So first we are taking first change, that is change in outflow heat rate is given by delta H1, that is QCS delta theta, whereas Q is steady state liquid flow rate and CS is the specific heat of liquid, and delta theta is the change in temperature. So the change in output flow heat rate can be written as delta H1 equals to QC delta theta, and QCS can be replaced by 1 by R, where is R is thermal resistance, and then we have delta H1 equals to delta theta upon R. Okay, and another change, that is change in heat storage rate, is given by delta H2 equals to MCS d by dt of delta theta, whereas M is the mass of the liquid in the tank, and d by dt of delta theta is the rate of rise of temperature in the tank. Okay, so it is rewrite as delta H2 equals to C d by dt of delta theta, whereas C is MCS. This is defined as thermal capacitance. So we have thermal resistance, thermal capacitance. Okay, now we can write del H equals to delta H1 and delta H2, because delta H1 and delta H2 occurs due to change in the heat flow rate in the input section. So we have mathematical expression for delta H equals to delta theta by R plus C d by dt of delta theta. We can apply Laplace transform, and it can be written as like this: delta Hs equals to delta theta S upon R plus Cs, because d by dt of delta theta can be represent as S del of theta ds, del theta of S. Okay, so this is can be obtained delta theta S upon delta Hs. This is output change in temperature, and this is input heat flow, change in input heat flow. Okay, so this is the transfer function for the given thermal system. This is equals to R upon 1 plus RCS. So these all about the modeling of fluid system and thermal system. This is completed of modeling systems. Now we will discuss the remaining topics of this unit in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.